Today, you'll start to learn how to take better pictures, so stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Spot Topic. My name is Noam. Today, I will start a new playlist that will teach you the fundamentals of exposure. Okay, so there are three main features in exposure. It's called an exposure triangle. I guess that's why. So there's aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. I will talk about each and every one of them separately in a separate video because I don't want the videos to be too long. And today we will start with aperture. So I have with me my camera, a 600D Canon with a 50mm 1.8 lens. This is the cheapest lens that you can buy, but if you look it up, you'll see that it's pretty good. It's actually a pretty good camera, especially for the price. But we're not here to talk about the camera or the lens. So aperture, you can see on the camera the number f1.8 or f3.5, f11. I skipped a few on the way. This is the aperture in your camera, and this is what you change to change the aperture. So the lower the number, the bigger the aperture, and in reverse, the bigger the number, the lower the aperture. Each and every one of them has a different let's call it features or different things that it does. The main thing that aperture does in general is to determine the depth of field in your photo. The depth of field is represented by the amount of blur in your background or foreground. For example, we'll start now to take pictures all the way from 1.8, which is the highest aperture that I have here on my lens, which is a pretty big aperture, and all the way to f22, which is the smallest aperture I can reach here. And I will be focusing on the same spot, and you will be able to see the difference. You'll focus mainly on the background, and you'll see the blur. So let's start by focusing on the top left corner of my guitar. You see a big blur all the way across, and just the spine of the guitar is what's in focus. By the way, I'm shooting in my backyard, so I'm not shooting in like a special place or in special time of day or anything. It's just my backyard here in Neshel, so you can do it at home, you can do it wherever you want. So let's go all the way to 2.8, which is a bit further than one stop across, but still, let's just try and get a difference. You can already see the difference because in 1.8 there was a big bokeh and the background was just blurred all the way across, but in 2.8 you can see just a tiny bit of improvement in details, but still a very big blur. So let's go to 3.5, which is the standard version, standard aperture for a lot of lower tier lenses. Let's focus and shoot. Okay, you can see, again, you can see a big difference from 1.8, but not a very big difference from 2.8. Let's go to 5.6 and another shoot, and you can already see a big difference. Let's go to f8 and this was f8, and now f11. Let's go to f16. This was 11 now, and now it's f16. You can see a very big difference from, especially from 1.8, but even from 5.6 you can see a big difference. Let's go all the way, crank it all the way up to f22, which is the smallest aperture. And just remember, I didn't move, which means, and I focused on the same point, in the same lighting, all the things were the same. The only thing that changed was my aperture. So I started from, let's say, 30 centimeters away and focused on the same spot. Everything was the same, just the aperture changed, and you can see a big difference from 1.8 to f22, but you don't need to change such a big difference. You can see the difference from f1.8 to f5.6 in it. So this is the main thing that aperture changes, the depth of field. Another thing that aperture does is, and it's a cool feature, you can only get that at night, in night photography. It does a cool, it's called a bokeh, but it's not a bokeh, it's just, you get the shape of the aperture inside your camera in the picture at night. If you do, if you take a picture from f16 or in a small aperture, f16, f18, 22, you get a really nice, like, star-shaped figure in lamps and cars and just lights in general at night. But you need the trick there is that you need to get a very long exposure. So you need the tripod, or you can't really do it with your hands. You can't really hold it with your hands. So yeah, that was aperture in general. I hope you learned something, and don't forget to subscribe. If you like this video, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.